Hey guys! Okay, are you ready? Are you sitting down? Because I'm sitting down. I found a couple of palettes and a couple of things from Walmart from the Profusion line that will knock your socks off. I promise. This is not a dupe video. This is not a DIY video. This is run out and buy this palette. Or any of these palettes, I think. The Profusion is the brand, and I honestly had not shopped for makeup in Walmart in a while. I just happened to zip down the makeup aisle, you know, because I like to take long romantic walks down the makeup aisle. Here it is. Look how bright and vibrant those colors are. It's a nice package. Doesn't have a mirror, but it does have a brush, which now is lost in all of everything else. Oh, here we go. Here's our brush. Came with a nice brush. And, you know, but to be honest, when you are working with these metallics, you don't really need a brush. The best thing to do is use your finger. The one thing about this palette is that it does not have a transition shade. It doesn't have anything that's matte. And so you probably just want to grab, you know, some kind of cheap. It doesn't have to be super great because all you're wanting is just to be able to blend that together. This is the palette that I had from Wet n Wild, and all I needed it for was this little brown transition shade. Light tan is what you're looking for. I have this little Almay quad. What I was wanting is just something that I could use as a transition shade that was barely darker than my skin tone and matte. And so that is the one thing to keep in mind when you're buying this palette. And you know that if you're all into makeup, you know that there's not really anything in here to use as a transition. So that's the first thing that I got. Then I also got a blush from them that is the blush number 2. And then the last thing that I got was an eye topper and a shadow stick. So if you're interested in seeing how this look came together, seeing how these things apply, stay tuned and watch for that. And if you'll leave me a comment and let me know if you've tried any of the other Profusion things. I was a little skeptical. I didn't know how good Profusion would be, and so I just started, well, I started with 3 things. I got cheeks and eyes and another eye. But if you've tried anything else from them, if you'll let me know what you've tried and what you think about it, that would be great. We're just gonna jump right into playing in it, okay? All right, let's get to it. The one thing about this palette is, I mean, in all its beautiful glory, it does not have anything for transition shades. So, I mean, everything is metallic, everything is sparkly, everything is beautiful, but really you need something for your transitions. So what I did is I dug through all of my eyeshadows and I found a couple of options that I think we can use for a transition shade, so that you don't have to go out and buy a whole different palette. Although, these all were like $9.96, $9.98. They were under $10. There were several different options. Every time that I go into Walmart, I'm probably going to pick up another one of these. It's going to be an addiction. So back to my original point, I've gone through and gotten some really affordable palettes for us to use as a transition shade. All you're looking for is just a fawn color, like a light tan. And this one is by Wet n Wild. All right, so the one that we're going to use is this. I keep touching the blue. I love that blue shade. Isn't that pretty? I want to say that this palette is called Color Icon. It's just their little eyeshadow quad, and it doesn't say the color names or anything like that, but it does have this really pretty blue, which is why I got it. And then this pretty purple, but we're not going to use any of that, so just ignore those things. We're looking at this transition. That's what we want this for. And we're going to start out with an eyeshadow primer. Whatever your favorite primer is, this one just happened to be in here. This is Shadow Insurance by Too Faced. And then I'm just going to go right here above my crease. This really isn't a tutorial. This is, and that was a lot more pigmented than what I planned for it to be. And that's all there is to that. We're just going to put a little bit of a transition shade that is not from this palette, and then I'm going to try to hit the edges of that so that there's not a harsh line. It does have a brush, and let's try it and see what it feels like. A little compact fluffy brush, so we can work with that. Let's try to go in the crease with it. And I think today, because I know that I want to play with this black, I think I want to go with golds. Let's do golds and blacks. Let's start with this lion heart. Is more of a bronzy gold. So we're gonna put this and it is behaving more like a glitter. Ooh, yeah, and there is fallout. So probably a really important thing to do, because I am getting fallout, looks like I have lots of freckles, because I'm getting fallout from this just straight off the bat, the best thing to do would be to put your eyeshadow on first and then come back with a makeup wipe and clean off all of this fallout, and then put your foundation on just around your eyes, and then you can come back and finish underneath here. So I think this is a palette that you're probably going to want to do that with. Kind of tone that down a little bit. I'm going to come back and pick up some of this matte transition and just put it in there with, because I always just think it looks a little strange when you've got metallic as your transition shade or kind of in that crease. So now we have kind of a semi-satin in terms of paint colors, semi-satin look. I want to play with Thunder so bad because that is just a beautiful, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, look at that. That blue, and then Atlantis is another one that's kind of a teal. I mean, these are from Walmart, y'all. This one is called Blitz, and it looks like a pressed glitter to me. Yeah, it is. Okay, so it's chunky. Let's look at Bite. That one feels wet when you swatch your finger in it. Look at those colors from Walmart. Okay, so this one's Thunder. And then I did Atlantis. Next to that, look at that blue. I'll come in a little closer. Here is the chunky glitter one that's called Blitz. And then we have Bite. That looks like metal. I mean, that is metallic. That is as good as some of my really high-end palettes. I mean, this is after I've wiped it off on my hand to swatch it. This is still the color that we're left with. Look how pigmented. Look at the color payoff of that, y'all. Let's keep going, okay? This set is called Sizzle. So it kind of looks like my Stila eye toppers, okay? The packaging is really pretty. Who cares about packaging, though? I'm one of those people, I don't care about packaging. I want to know how it's going to look on my face. So it says an eye topper. Let me swatch that. Oh, that's not a topper. I thought it was going to maybe go on sheer. I thought, because this says it's a waterproof shadow stick, I thought we were going to have to put that on as a base and then just do this as an eye topper, that it might go on sheer. That does not look sheer to me at all whatsoever in the least. Let's see if we kind of smear it out. Oh my gosh. Can you see the sparkle? Now, what are we going to do with that? I think what I'm going to do is probably use my finger. Just put a tiny bit of this on my eye. That may be a little too much. I'm going to start small and maybe build up. It does sheer out. So, let's go back to my original plan. Let's try to do this first. Well, now let's hop over here since I've already done that. Let's go on this side. Put a little of this waterproof crayon down first. I like to dab. I don't really like to pull. Alright, so now I've got a pretty good base for that. This little pencil would be awesome if you're trying to go with really dark colors to put on as a base. Although I don't think you really need it with this. Okay, so now we're going to see how I've bent it already? So let's put this over that black and look at the difference. Now black is a scary one to use. Black is not for sissies. I'm just going on the edge of that with what was left over on my little brush of that transition, the matte one. Not the metallic, but the matte. Look how that's drying down. I haven't brushed over the top of that. I'm just going on the edges. Edges are always the hardest part for me when I'm using like a liquid shadow. Really wanting an intense black. So let's see if this works. We're gonna have multiple coats over here on this side. You can do this. I know a lot of people do this as their last step. They put their black on as the last step. To me, black's a little scary, and so I would rather do it as my first step and kind of tone it down and blend my other shades into that, and then come back if I want to and just highlight it a little bit more at the end. So that is my plan. So if you're going, why are you putting the black on first? It's just the way, my method. Destiny or Conquest, those are the two. Let's go with Destiny. I'm gonna try it with my finger and see what kind of payoff we get with that. Oh, a pretty one. And just blending those together, I can do that easier with my finger. So I'm gonna pick up Winter, which is this pale gold shade, and just go right here in the inside. Once all of that's done, if you wanted to come back and make this a little more intense, then we could come back with our topper, and all I'm gonna do is just kind of come here close to the lash line and out here in the corner. And I'm gonna tap that in with my finger. Let's put a little blush on, and then I will go finish my eyes and come back and show you the finished look. Okay, so I think because the eyes are kind of dramatic, we're gonna go with this middle shade called Smitten. It's kind of a peachy. I think you can't ever go wrong with a peachy shade. So we're gonna pick up a little of this peach. I just tapped that off anyway, don't know why. Oh yeah, there's color there. Probably too much color. Yeah, there's color. I'm wondering if we couldn't use this waterproof shadow stick as an eyeliner. Let's try that and see. It's really thick, so don't come after me if I do something terrible. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, so I'm just gonna blend this out. All right, so then I'm gonna use just a nude liner on my waterline. This one is Exaggerate by Rimmel. It's a waterproof one. I always recommend wearing a waterproof one on your waterline, just so it'll stay put. Takes a little bit to warm them up. Sometimes I will just kind of warm them up between my fingertips so that they don't pull and drag on my eyes, and then they glide a lot easier. Okay, so now just to kind of soften that liner under my eye a little bit, I'm going to come back with my little transition shade from my Wet n Wild palette. Pick that up and then just kind of blend a little bit under here. I am going to hop off camera, do some liner and some lashes, mascara and lipstick, and I will be right back to show you the finished look, okay? Okay, so now we are back. So that is our finished look. You know, I kind of feel bad now that I'm finished with everything and coming back and just talking to you about this palette that we didn't do any of the crazy colors. I kind of want to go back and do a crazy color. Let me try. Let's find a brush that we can pack it on with. This is my Sigma E55, a shader brush, and I'm just going to pack a little color right here in the center of my eye. I'm not going to take my lashes off, which I know is nuts, but these are the magnetic lashes, and if you've ever tried to get those on, it's not something that you can just pop off and pop back on, unless you do my hack, and then you can. I want to go right here in the middle of my eye, and I want to make a statement. The professional in me is going, okay, you have to go back to the studio, so you should stick with the golds and the neutrals and the normal shades. But then I'm like, you know what? I am a creator. I am a creative person. People hire me because of my creativity, so maybe my makeup should reflect that. So let's just jump in with both feet and let's go with Atlantis. This is this turquoise blue right there. And I know my sister's cringing and she's going, oh, you're gonna look like Mimi from the Drew Carey show. So let's hope not. All right, let's hope not. All right, so here we go. And I know it's probably gonna work better if we tap it on with our finger, but let's just try with the shader brush first. Am I sure that's what I wanna do? I mean, we could go with purple, but normally I do wear purples. Okay, let's just do it. It's not really doing a whole lot with the brush, so let's do it with my finger. Yeah, you gotta use your finger. You gotta use your finger, people. Oh. The combination of that turquoise shade blended into that black is beautiful. Ah! Okay, that's so pretty. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I needed that, and look how much color's on my finger. I mean, that paid off. Okay, so I'm gonna take my dry finger and just see if I can blend it a little bit. Yeah. That is so impressive for a $10 palette. Okay, so I've got the prices on everything. This palette was $9.96 from Walmart, and they have a ton to choose from. The blush palette was $6. All right, so it had the little waterproof chubby stick. Why am I calling it chubby stick? I don't like to be called chubby. Has the, what is it called? Waterproof shadow stick. Okay, the shadow stick, and then it had what it called the topper, which I did not think was a topper. This is a straight up eyeshadow, y'all. I just love that color. This was in Sizzle, and this whole set was also $6. Look how beautiful that is. Now that's pretty. That is so cool. All right, so if that is not impressive to y'all, that a $10 palette from Walmart can do that, then I just don't know how to make you happy, okay? Okay, so that is it for today, and if you've enjoyed this video, if you'll please like and subscribe and all that good stuff that all the YouTubers ask for, it really does make a difference, and so if you'll do that, that would be great. Okay, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys!